Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamila Bannister, and this channel is the place you want to be if you want to learn how to market your business by leading from the front with thought leadership and personal branding. So in this week's video, I took a break. By the way, I took a small break last week. I just needed some time to regroup. And so this week I am back and I am going to be talking to you about how to increase your brand visibility, your industry authority, and your thought leadership through speaking engagements. And I'm going to share with you some tips on how you can book some more speaking engagement to raise your profile. So public speaking is actually one of the most effective ways to raise your profile as a thought leader and an industry authority. It's so good that a lot of people actually build an entire career around public speaking because it's such an impactful way to be able to serve your audience, and it's really a lucrative line of business once you get the formula down. So I'm going to share with you a few tips in this week's video on how you could actually get more speaking opportunities and how you could raise your profile as a thought leader with this particular strategy. So my first tip is, if you want to start being seen as somebody who is an industry leader, you have to start putting yourself out there as that person. You have to essentially reframe yourself in people's minds as a thought leader, as an industry authority, and as a speaker by speaking more. So you're going to have to start putting out more content. People are going to need to start seeing more of you, hearing more of you, and really hearing more of the thing that you say that you are an expert at. So if you're an expert at birds, you gotta start talking about all the things you know about birds and how they actually impact the ecosystem and whatever else you advise on. If you're an expert at food, if you're an expert at beauty, if you're an expert at finance, we need to start seeing more of you. And the best way to do that is, of course, through content. Given the fact that we aren't networking physically right now and we don't know how long that will last, it's important that you start putting content out into the digital universe so that more people can see you in the role that you want to be hired for. So start reframing yourself as a speaker by putting yourself out there with content. So content is one thing, but if you really want to be seen as a speaker and you want to be seen as somebody who's dynamic, charismatic, and who could actually hold attention of your audience, you must start putting out video content. That is the way that a potential client or somebody who may want to hire you can actually see the way that you engage. Because a speaker is so much more than their expertise. A speaker is somebody who is highly engaging with their audience. They know how to deliver information in a concise yet simple to understand type of way. And they are somebody who can really use their presence to be able to command and engage and hold the attention of their audience. And one of the best ways to do that is if you're doing it via video. That way people can get to see all your body gestures, they can get to see all your movements, hear your voice, and really get a fuller picture of who you are. It's more difficult to book speaking gigs as someone who only puts out written content because nobody would have ever heard you speak. So it's important that you start to set the tone from before and you start to use video content if you want to be seen as a speaker and hired to speak, and certainly get paid for doing so. So my third tip is to network as much as you can. And this is because this is actually a twofold tip. And it's because on the one hand, you want to be able to start as many new conversations as possible and engage people, because that actually helps you develop your conversational and engagement skills. It teaches you how to listen, it teaches you how to read people's body language and get a sense of when they are responding well to you or you may be losing them. These are all important skills when you get on top of that stage and you're working to engage your audience and keep them on the same path with you as you take them through your story or your speech or whatever the case may be. So I'd say start as many new conversations as possible and network. Now, the second reason that I encourage people to network to help build their opportunities for public speaking engagement is, of course, networking brings opportunities for business. So when you talk to new people, you establish new leads, new relationships, you now have an opportunity to possibly get in great with influencers, leaders, and decision makers who will be the ones making the decisions on whether or not they are looking for a public speaker or somebody to actually speak to, whether it's their staff, their audience, or whomever it may be. So get out there and start networking. My fourth tip is to volunteer to speak as much as you can. So if you are new to the speaking circuit or you are just starting out with thought leadership and personal branding, you're probably not going to get a bunch of gigs paying you a whole bunch of money to be able to speak. However, there are always opportunities to lend your expertise and support to different things, whether it be volunteer organizations, whether it be schools, or maybe churches, or wherever there may be opportunities for you to speak. So I want you to start looking around for opportunities where you can share your expertise, help the audience, and really give of yourself to an audience to develop your speaking skills. Those are the gigs that will pave the way for you to then hone your skills so that you can actually get paid for speaking gigs in the future. And those are the gigs that will help you raise your profile, because you would be able to do so many. Your skills will definitely get more sharp. My fifth and final tip is to find a community, and I'd recommend joining your local Toastmasters group. There are tons of Toastmasters groups if you are in Trinidad and Tobago, and Toastmasters is an international organization. So you have the opportunity to engage with people who are just like yourself, looking to improve their public speaking skills and looking for opportunities to speak publicly. You would also find yourself in community with people who are looking to do the same thing as you. So having the support of people on the same trajectory as you is, of course, priceless. So look up Toastmasters. I am not a member, but I've attended their meetings and they are pretty good, and they really do help you learn to engage with the audience, speak extemporaneously, and speak on topics that you may not necessarily be versed in, but because your speaking skills would have been honed so much, you can in fact be extemporaneous and be able to speak at the drop of a hat. So I'd say join your local Toastmasters community to get more help with your public speaking and to access more opportunities to speak publicly. So that's it, guys. That's my advice for this week. If you want to increase your brand visibility, increase your brand authority and your credibility as a thought leader by using public speaking and speaking engagements. These tips I gave you here will certainly help you pave the way so that you can become a better public speaker. You learn how to engage with your audience, manage the crowd, prepare better, practice, learn how to read body language, learn how to really take charge of a public speaking situation and be able to convey your message quickly, concisely, and in a simple manner for people to absorb. Take my advice, guys. Let me know how it works out for you. This is advice I take myself and I practice all the time. And as a result, I've been able to get speaking opportunities to speak at summits, to speak at graduations, to speak at company events. And it's all because I practiced and I networked and I looked for those opportunities. All right, guys, so thanks again for tuning in to yet another video here on my channel. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Please leave your comments below and continue to follow me on my other social media channels. And I will see you next week. Have a good one. Ciao.